Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we take awesome out of the box. Tito James here, and in this one we're taking a look at the Realme 7, in particular how it handles some of the most popular games on the Google Play Store, since I was very curious to see how the newest processor from Mediatek performs. Before we jump in, I want to give you guys the price tag for this phone since we finally have it. The Realme 7 is priced at 14,990 pesos. As for its availability, you can get it via their flagship store on Lazada and some other select SM branches as well. Just remember to be safe if you decide to go out. They have some special offers for it as well. For more details and links to their flagship store on Lazada, check the description down below. As always, I'm going to kick off this gaming review with a recap of the Realme 7's key specs, but I'll leave a timestamp somewhere on screen just in case you want to skip it. Let's kick things off with the processing package since that's one of the biggest upgrades of this phone. Realme has equipped this device with a Mediatek Helio G95, making this the first smartphone in the world to receive this SoC. They paired this with a generous 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Taking a look at its benchmark scores, you can see that it does perform slightly better in GPU-focused tests compared to its Pro sibling, which means we should be getting some good results later in this video. Another key feature of the Realme 7 is its display. You're getting a 6.5-inch Full HD Plus IPS LCD panel with a 90Hz refresh rate, so essentially, they just carried over the display from the Realme 6 to this device. And that's not a bad thing. If you haven't experienced a screen with a faster refresh rate before, it makes navigating through the phone feel incredibly snappy with smoother animations. Buttery smooth is what most tech YouTubers say, and it's the best way to describe it. The last key spec that we're going to be talking about, at least as far as gaming is concerned, is the battery. The Realme 7 has a capacity of 5,000 mAh, which is more than the previous version that was juiced up by a 4,300 one. Now, our YouTube video loop tests revealed that the G95 does gulp down more juice than usual since it only clocked in at 7 hours and 52 minutes compared to the nearly 13 hours on the Pro, so you might want to keep that in mind, but at least you do get support for 30-watt dart charging, so you'll be up and running a little bit quicker too. Alright, so with a recap over, let's get into the game, starting off with our baseline title, Asphalt 9. With Asphalt 9, you have to remember that we are capped at 30 frames per second, and that's exactly what we got as the average FPS, with 91% stability at high quality settings. It pretty much coasted through this racing title, so if this is a game that you play to pass the time, then this will be good news for you and a great result for the device out of the gate. But let's move on to something a bit more demanding and a game that I personally play, NBA 2K20. Now, the settings for this game were on high except for cloth simulation and depth of field, which we had disabled. The Realme 7 managed an average of 47 frames per second at 99% stability, which isn't bad at all. I would, however, recommend bringing down the settings even more to get it running even smoother, such as completely disabling the crowd since they don't really factor into the gameplay experience unless you really want the ambiance. Time to move on to the shooters. Let's kick things off with some Call of Duty. This is another title that's one of my go-tos, but unfortunately, I'm still not great at it. On the Realme 7 with graphics quality set to very high and frame rates at high, with all the extra toggles turned on, we got an average of 53 frames per second at 87% stability. Not a bad result, but there were a few frame rate drops during firefights, so to make sure that you don't die due to the system stuttering, I would turn the graphics quality down to medium as a compromise. Now let's move on to some PUBG. And as usual, we didn't use GFX tool while playing this title since we want to give you an out-of-the-box experience, which means that the graphic caps out at HD and high frame rates. The result is an average of 30 frames per second at 100% stability, which makes me think that you can push this a little bit more if you plan on using that third-party app to boost the settings. As is though, the gameplay was relatively smooth and didn't let me down during exchanges, so I'll call that a win. On to the next game on the list, Marvel Super War. This is where we see a slight hiccup with getting the latest SoC since the G95 isn't supported by this title just yet, and some of the higher settings were unavailable, meaning we are capped at 30 FPS. The good news here is that that was our average FPS as a result, and it also ran smoothly at 99% stability. There should be an update for this title to have higher frame rates enabled, but as of recording this gaming review, this is where we're at. Now for the last title, I wanted to try out a new game, so this is Genshin Impact. When I first booted up this title, the default setting was at medium, but I quickly switched it out to the lowest because of the dropped frames. Even still, we only managed 27 frames per second as an average with a stability of 91%. I also have to note that I'm only at the very beginning of the game with not much happening on screen yet, so I don't know what it's gonna be like in the long run as you progress further, but I just had to test out this new title to see what it was like on the Realme 7. And there you have it, kids. That's pretty much how the Realme 7 handles some of the most popular titles available on the Google Play Store. In terms of temperatures, I did feel the device get a bit warm, but nothing to be really concerned about. And to quickly recap all the results that we got during this gaming review, here they are on screen right now. And by the way, I just have to thank the folks over at Gamebench, which is the app that we use to get all the metrics that you see in our gaming reviews. I'll leave a link to their website down below if you want to check them out. And that does it for our gaming review for the Realme 7. If you want something more in-depth, the full review is up on the website right now, so please check it out. With that, thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate each and every one of you for spending a few minutes to watch our videos. If you like what you see, you know what to do. Drop us a like, sub to the channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of our content. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can. For all the latest tech news and gadget reviews, head to unbox.ph, plus follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. This is Tito James. Peace, God bless, see you guys next time, and stay safe.